Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking on a source analysis that is, well, it's frankly a masterclass in psychic diagnosis.
Mm.
We're not looking at fortune telling or abstract ideas. We are diving into a really detailed Jungian walkthrough of a specific, very complex dream.
A dream that acts not as a prophecy, but more like a simulated stress test.
Exactly, a stress test.
That's right. The analysis we have is all centered around this classic hotel fire dream. And it interprets the symbols, the flow of the action, and this is crucial, the failure points.
To show you, the listener, exactly where you're currently stuck in your waking life.
Precisely.
So our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to unpack the architecture of this crisis. The psyche is presenting a very, very stark choice.
It really is. The core conflict boils down to this. Do you stay comfortable and warm in a familiar structure that is, fundamentally doomed?
Or do you face the cold, maybe terrifying chill of true freedom, of growth, and that hard process of what Jungians call individuation?
And we really need to walk through this diagnosis step by step to understand why the listener, even after making it out, keeps retreating back toward the fire.
Okay, so where do we begin? The setting.
We have to start with the setting. The very first piece of information the unconscious gives us is the location, the hotel.
And that's instantly important, isn't it? A hotel, by its very nature, is temporary.
It's not home.
No, it's an arrangement, a holding pattern. We check into a hotel when we're transitioning or when our real home isn't available for some reason.
It carries a very specific kind of psychological weight, or maybe a lack thereof. It's a structure where you're sheltered, sure, but you don't have any long-term responsibility for it.
Right, you don't fix the pipes, you don't paint the walls, you just pay for temporary comfort.
It's a transit state,
Yeah.
a phase, a role, an identity configuration that's, good enough for now, but it lacks the permanence, the depth you need for a genuine psychological home.
And when you connect that idea to the listener's actual situation, the analysis points toward their current setup, the office, the living arrangement.
The specific roles they play for everyone.
Yeah. It's a structure that works right now, but it is absolutely not built for their future self. It's the holding pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're in a configuration that's easy because other people manage the infrastructure,
Yeah.
but it's stifling their own development. And then this temporary setup is just violently disrupted.
By the alarm.
The alarm.
The psychic warning. The alarm goes off, and this is where the social part kicks in immediately because other people, or maybe it's your own internal critic, are saying,
It's fine. It's probably a drill.
don't overreact.
But the alarm is real. The fire is happening. And what we're seeing here is a classic Jungian concept, compensatory action.
Let's stay on that for a second. What exactly is the unconscious compensating for here?
It's compensating for the ego's denial, for the environment's minimization of the problem. Your conscious mind, your ego, it prefers comfort. It whispers, it's fine. Ignore that anxiety. But the unconscious sees the real danger, and it has to scream through this dream to be heard. It's amplifying the urgency because the listener's everyday life keeps smoothing it over.
So the dream is basically proof that the listener already knows this whole structure is on fire. That deep, gnawing urgency, that's the alarm bell. But they're being told inside and out to just hit the snooze button.
Precisely. If they weren't dismissing the feeling, the unconscious wouldn't need such a violent metaphor. The fact that the collective in the dream dismisses the alarm is a direct commentary on how the listener's waking world minimizes their own existential distress.
Okay, so that sets the stage. The urgency is then amplified by the location of the fire itself. It's not just somewhere in the building, it is terrifyingly at the door.
That detail is absolutely critical. Fire in this context is, it's libido, psychic energy transformation.
The destruction of old forms.
Yes. But because it's burning at the threshold, the transition point itself is under pressure. The normal, comfortable way to exit this phase of life is gone. It's blocked.
So the easy way out, that gentle slide into something new, is just not an option. It forces a radical break.
It does. The fire at the door means that the typical strategy of, say, a simple career move, a painless relocation, a soft exit, that's all unavailable.
You have to walk through heat.
You have to break the frame, and before the dreamer even tries that, they make the classic mistake.
The attempt to pack everything, trying to stuff things into a bag that it catches, it snags, it won't zip.
And this is maybe the most painful part of the analysis, because the bag isn't just clothing. It's all the roles, the tools, the identities, the obligations.
Yeah.
Everything they feel they must carry into the next phase.
but isn't trying to save the essentials, just, good planning. Where's the line between packing for survival and just carrying junk?
That's the core tension, isn't it? The
Yeah.
psyche is saying the things you think are essential for your old life are actually what's stopping you from getting to the new one. The snagging bag is textbook commentary. You're trying to cram an entire life into a container built for a completely different future. The containers are incompatible.
And this leads to maybe the most brutal line in the entire source. The realization, I might die if I don't leave the room.
That's the culmination of it all. The unconscious presents a binary choice. Save all the things, all the roles, and stay until the fire gets you.
Or save your life, which means leaving a lot of what you thought was essential behind.
Exactly. Insisting on total preservation guarantees total loss.
Okay, so they decide to leave the baggage. They move toward an exit, but then they find the green exit signs, the standard paths, just lead to locked doors.
The locked doors are such a devastating commentary on standard advice.
Yeah.
The green exit signs, they represent external guidance, socially sanctioned scripts.
The things you're supposed to do. Climb the ladder, move to this city, get this kind of funding.
Right, but for this listener, following those paths only leads to dead ends. The psyche is insisting your unique path, your process of individuation, can't follow the generic signage. If the door's locked, it isn't for you.
And this feeds right into the next, and maybe the hardest, truth here, the attack on the savior complex. You see people behind those locked doors, people you can't free, and you realize you just don't have the key.
This is where the dream draws a violent but necessary boundary. The listener is in a burning building. They cannot rescue everyone else and survive this transition themselves.
So that compulsion to be the helper, the explainer, the stabilizer, that persona you've run for years,
Is now in direct, lethal conflict with your own survival, your own growth.
absolutely. The psyche is forcing a confrontation with the moral impossibility of the situation. If you obey that reflex to fix everyone else in a burning building, you die with them.
And the analysis is so clear on this. It says, your job is not to be the universal liberator here.
It sounds like the unconscious is intentionally creating this massive guilt, this unsolvable dilemma, just to stop the listener from retreating into that familiar helper role.
That's the mechanism. The dream provides evidence. The locked doors, no key, that the task is impossible, which then validates the necessary, quote-unquote, selfish act of survival. It's saying, this is a structural impossibility. Focus on your own escape.
Right. So having moved past the baggage and the locked doors, you finally reach the lobby, the public space.
The realm of the persona, the collective mind. And what do you find?
Yeah.
People operating normally.
And they're doing the same denial as before, but now they have a reason. They say the fire isn't here yet. And then the crucial line,
It's cold outside, so we're waiting.
that just perfectly captures it. They only respond to immediate local danger. The bigger systemic problem, the fact that the whole building is burning, is irrelevant as long as their corner is still okay.
And they rationalize their inaction with comfort. The immediate discomfort of the cold outside is a bigger deal to them than the distant but catastrophic risk of the fire.
So the dream is telling you, the listener, that your awareness of the systemic problem doesn't automatically move the collective to action. You can't wait for them.
And this brings us to the punchline, the devastating final diagnostic failure of the whole simulation. You succeed, you get outside.
You reach safety, the unknown, the cold, unscripted future, and then
You go back in.
you return to the burning lobby. That is just psychologically profound. Wow.
Because the outside world is unheeded. It is solitude, a lack of familiar roles, no script, and most importantly, no external validation.
The safety you achieved was existentially cold.
You made it out, but the pull of warmth, the familiarity, the shared delusion, it was stronger than the fear of the flames.
So the diagnosis isn't about physical courage. It's about existential comfort. You can see the crisis, you can navigate it, but you still choose warmth and company in a doomed structure over the chill of true freedom.
It is the ultimate diagnostic statement about a core behavioral pattern. The fear of the unknown, unscripted future is greater than the fear of the lethal known present.
Let's dedicate some serious time now to synthesizing this, connecting those symbols directly to the listener's waking life. The analysis goes into great detail here.
It does. The hotel, the burning building, is the composite life structure right now. It's the heavy burden of property management, of holding everyone's logistics, and specifically acting as the tech wizard, the explainer, the nervous system stabilizer for everyone.
That's the high-maintenance structure that's on fire. Those roles, while valuable, are temporary arrangements to stabilize others, not permanent architecture for yourself.
Exactly. And the dismissed alarm that since this can't be it is constantly being pushed down by the need to manage all those logistics. The feeling is, I have to be grateful for this, which just cancels out the desperate internal call for self-focus.
Okay, and what about the baggage? The bag that won't zip?
That's the attempt to carry all those heavy roles into the next phase. You're trying to move forward while maintaining the entire portfolio. The tenants, the business structures, the family roles, the exhaustive spiritual research.
And a future content mission that needs total focus.
Yes. The bag snags because those administrative caretaker roles are too heavy to carry into the new structure. The psyche is saying you cannot be both the full-time manager of everyone else's stability and the focused pioneer you need to become.
It's a binary choice of dedication.
And the locked exits just reinforce this. The standard career moves, they don't fit the complexity of your mission. The conventional world has no template for the kind of work you're meant to do.
So finally, let's define that cold outside. What specific parts of your life constitute this terrifying cold?
It's the path of low external validation. It's the time spent on those unfinished AI tooling projects, on deep research without a paying client, or that YouTube channel that hasn't taken off yet.
It's the existential cold wind of having no pre-existing script.
No guaranteed income, no established community to rest in. And that fear of cold solitude is what sends you back into the fire. You feel the cold air of true independence, and you calculate that the collective warmth, even in a burning building, is better.
The dream is holding up a mirror to that exact calculation. It's showing you that your greatest self-sabotage isn't a fear of failure, it's a fear of loneliness.
So the perspective, read what the dream wants you to do next, is not complicated, but it is brutally difficult.
It's showing where the psyche desperately wants to go. It's externalized this inner conflict into a life or death scenario to force you to confront your relationship with discomfort.
The dream isn't about predicting the future. It's predicting the failure point if you maintain your current psychological priorities. The warm place is lethal. The cold place is survivable.
So the final question the simulation is posing is the true test, isn't it? It's, are you finally willing to be cold for a while instead of warm and doomed?
That really is the summation of the whole diagnosis.
As we bring this deep dive to a close, let's just restate the two core conflicts this psychic simulation laid out.
First, the conflict of roles. You cannot save everyone in yourself. Your path requires a kind of radical individuation, which means letting go of that universal rescuer persona.
And second, the conflict of comfort. You're facing a choice between lethal warmth, the familiar, validated, but doomed current structure, and survivable cold. The terrifying, unscripted freedom of your next step.
And the dream is showing you that your current default is to choose the warmth.
This leads us to the final provocative thought, because this is where the action has to happen. Success means recognizing that the comfort and familiarity of the old structure, that's the very thing preventing your escape.
All those stabilizing roles, all that external validation, it's the trap.
So the question for you, the listener, as you move forward, isn't just about leaving the fire. It's about how you start generating your own heat and light in that cold, unscripted outside world.
How do you build a self-sustaining source of energy and meaning? Because that's the only way to make the cold survivable and remove the temptation to run back to the warmth of obsolete forms.
Answering that will change the script. We'll leave you to consider that profound challenge.
Okay.
Until next time.